welcome to another episode of the Baton Rouge Traveler. About 20 minutes south of Baton Rouge, on the other side of the Mississippi River, is a town called Plaquemine. Settled in the early 1800s by American citizens, it's been used by the Native Americans and other peoples for many, many generations before. The waterway that passes through this area that used to connect to the Mississippi River called Bayou Plaquemine. Eventually this waterway became under heavy use with travel and lumber industries all throughout the South. Eventually a lock system was needed to create a way to get larger barges and ships from the Mississippi River into what would eventually become the Intercoastal Waterway, which one runs all the way throughout the south of the United States. The approach we're coming through here shows us the green area off to the right, which is the part of the levee system protecting Plaquemine from the Mississippi River. As you get up into the main part of the lock house, this tall white structure up on the left is all that's remaining of the original foundation from the lock system. Behind the lock building, you'll see a bell tower and church and some of the original government buildings in Plaquemine. Lots and lots of wonderful homes, some needed restoring, but it's a nice, pleasant drive through a decent area of town. As you head the steps into the lock house, it's supposed to be open from 9 to 5 on most days. However, this particular day was a holiday and it was closed. So we won't be able to see the inside of the lock house. However, the Lock House Museum, while nice, is not the main attraction here. The lock system itself is quite impressive. One of the facts that I didn't know until recently about the lock system was that it was designed by Colonel George Washington Goethals of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. He later served as the chief engineer in construction of the Panama Canal system, which itself contains multiple locks and a man-made lake to get traffic from the different oceans, Atlantic and Pacific. What you see at this point is the filled-in area where the lock used to allow traffic into. It was closed down in the late 60s when they built a larger lock not far away in Port Allen. The building itself ran the operations, but if you look down in this channel, you'll see very, very, very sturdy foundations intended to hold large amounts of water, along with the weight and pressure of the boats floating through it. These large windows you see over here would have allowed the maintenance people to be able to see boats from far off on this high promontory right next to the lock. Since this waterway Bayou Plaquemine isn't getting any feed from the Mississippi River, there are issues with oxygenation and aquatic wildlife health and that sort of thing. There is fishing allowed. There's a pavilion on the other side of these gates. And this walkway you see here was constructed so you could tour across it. This was not one of the original structures. These large curved rusted structures on either side are the original doors. These doors would have closed, allowed the water to fill up from the higher Mississippi River. Boats would float in, and the doors would slowly close on the Mississippi end, which are no longer on this side anymore, and slowly open on the Bayou Plaquemine side, allowing the boats to settle down to the level of the bayou. Sometimes the process takes a long time. All depends on the size of the boats and traffic necessary. The doors on here are essentially watertight, kept closed by pressure until they're ready to open. And as a boat comes back from Bayou Plaquemine into Mississippi, the process is reversed. The boat floats in, the doors close, and the water is slowly allowed to come in from the Mississippi River to fill it back up. Once it reaches an adequate height, the doors open to the Mississippi River and the boat would be allowed to go out. On this plaque you'll see a map of the surrounding area. Where the dot is where we are. just north of this is where Baton Rouge is. You can see Interstate 12 and 10 crossing the middle of the screen. And currently, the lock that allows river traffic through is up in that area. As I mentioned earlier, the trip from the bridge at Baton Rouge to here is about 20 minutes, depending on traffic. I would not go during rush hour because that bridge gets stopped. If you look over here on the doors to the side, these are the remnants of the original wooden plankings where the maintenance crew will walk across the lock. Thankfully, we have that cutover bridge where you don't have to do that anymore. I hope you enjoyed this visit to the Plaquemine Lock. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put them below. And if you like what you see here, please like and subscribe to our channel.